There are those who speak and those who listen. But every so often, someone shows up who does both with uncommon purpose and an open notebook in hand. Nicole Banks is a power connector, a woman whose network doesn't just span industries, it sparks movements. For more than 2 decades, she's solved problems others run from, built what others said couldn't be done, and highlighted the wisdom of giants, one page at a time. This is Nicole's Business Notebook, a curated circle of brilliance, a behind-the-scenes pass to the strategies, stories, and secrets shared by the experts she calls friends. It's not just a show, it's a blueprint for those bold enough to build. So settle in, because the notebook is open.
Hi, it's Nicole Banks with Nicole's Business Notebook. I bring together my business friends throughout the greater Phoenix Valley and beyond to show subject matter expertise in all of its flavors. Today, I am happy to introduce Catherine Pierce. She is one of the owners of Network Live. She's got a lot of amazing things going on and really excited to talk about what she's got going on, how to be a woman entrepreneur and woman business owner and kind of the whole thing. So we're going to see where we can get through today. Thank you so much, Catherine, for coming out and spending some time.
You bet. I'm always happy to spend time with you.
Awesome. Yeah. Amazing. So for those that may not know, you and your husband own Network Live.
Yes.
But today we're going to focus on you.
Okay.
And not you and the husband.
Yes.
Tab, we love you. You're amazing.
Right.
But this is for Catherine today. So Catherine, can you tell us a little bit about your experience and kind of what brought you to the point of purchasing Network Live?
Okay, yes. So I started in the workforce outside the home in 2018 after I raised our family and kind of transitioned Tab's mom. I decided I was ready for a new challenge. So I decided to do cybersecurity recruiting. And I didn't have any experience or anything. I just kind of figured I could figure it out.
Yeah.
And then within a few months, I was able to purchase the company because the owner wanted to leave. And so I did, and I was able to triple the revenue within the first year of the previous year. So I was like, honestly, a little shocked, excited, but a little shocked.
Yeah.
And then we had the opportunity to come here. It's funny how we got to moving from Seattle to Arizona. We came here in November, and we're like outside wearing shorts and, flip-flops and stuff. Yep. And then we came back in February for a conference that we were putting on. And again, shorts and flip-flops. And I turned to Tab and I'm like, why in the world do we live in Seattle? So By the time we were done with that visit, we had decided we're buying a house in Arizona. And then the opportunity to acquire what was Networking Phoenix came to us, and Tab, my husband, said, I think I want to do it. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. And at the time, I did not like networking. I had had a couple experiences going to networking mixers that were not good. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it was because it was Seattle or, just the room or what. But anyway, It wasn't a good experience. But I wanted to, I do like a challenge. So we bought the company, we rebranded it to Network Live. It has been so much fun getting to know so many people that we otherwise would not have. I mean, you and I never would have met probably, you know, and we've been able to help support so many small business owners just with resources or connections and helping them to either with collaboration partners or even education, things like that I feel like the small business owner or even solopreneurs, entrepreneurs or whatever are kind of left out in the cold, that's been our experience when Tab was, when I was still a stay-at-home mom and he was running Caliber Security, that it can be a lonely journey. And as I've talked with more and more people when we're doing our events, that's kind of the same thing that I hear is that it can be really lonely. Or I was talking with this gal who had left her corporate job. They had actually helped her leave. And, and she decided to start her own business. And she said, I have a hard time. I've had these friends. I worked at the company for 10 years. I've had these friends for a long time. She said, but now it seems like there's a disconnect between my life now and my ideas and working and things like that. And, the clocking in at 9, the 9 to 5
Yeah.
mentality. And she says, am I crazy? And I said, a little bit. No, I said, you're not crazy. You just need a new set of friends. Not that you have to say goodbye to your old ones, but you need to be around people that are thinking like you're thinking and can support you and tell you, talk you off the ledge when you have those ugly cry days, because they do happen for sure.
Yeah.
But being able to have, a community of people that you can turn to or rely on, or just even show up and without even saying anything, that you guys are walking the same walk.
Right. No, I love that. And for me, entrepreneurship is a very intentional decision. And you change so much about your identity and your needs and your time and your goals that, aligning yourself with other entrepreneurs, other people that are going through it, whether it's the same industry or something different, it's still the same sort of journey in a lot of ways. And I love that Network Live is a really great open space for everybody to come together to kind of share the journeys and the war scars and the goals. And, I also think the wins, we
for sure.
Don't necessarily have that opportunity to, it's not gloating or boasting or anything. You work hard and you achieve something, you want to share it. And I think that's one thing I love a lot about Network Live is that you guys really do push forward to what's great that happened to you.
Yes.
How can we share? How can we celebrate you? And I think that that's one thing that your group does really well.
Thank you. We want, it's like you said, it's important to celebrate the wins because, we can have a lot of days in between those wins and even just recognizing like the small things and, full disclosure, we can have days where we are down and discouraged and things aren't happening as fast as we want them to.
Yep.
And when Tab and I, either one of us are in that, we will always ask the other one, okay, well, but what's going well? Because it can kind of just shift your thinking 100%. And okay, what is going well? I woke up today. I'm still alive. Woohoo,
Yeah.
And just shifting your focus from all these things aren't happening yet to look at everything that has, come our way and it doesn't make the other stuff go away, but it changes your focus.
100%.
And especially as an entrepreneur, your focus has to be dialed in. It's like, I don't know who said it, but somebody said, entrepreneurship is one of the greatest personal development courses or journeys that you'll ever go on. And it's true because you're constantly, and this is at least what I've learned, is that I'm constantly needing to check, okay, where's my mind? Where's my focus? Yep. I need to keep the long-term goals in mind, but yet all the day-to-day stuff has to still happen. And if you
the fires and all the stuff that comes up in the meantime.
Yes. And if you're, if you don't have the support staff, which many of us don't, it is all on our lap and we're having to juggle all the balls and everything. And it can be overwhelming, but celebrating the wins for sure is a great place to kind of shift your focus and get you back in that frame of mind of, there are things good happening. I am making progress. And also I think reflecting on where you were last year.
Yes.
Yeah. Where were you, last year? What was I doing? Have I made progress? Have I met new people? Have I gotten new resources? Have I, last year at this time, I wasn't using Chat GPT, you know what I mean? And just like little things that you can do to stack your wins, I guess is a good way to say it.
Yeah, I love that. And, to that fact, I think, Network Live does a great way of doing that with all of the different offerings and the membership and the executive lunch and all of that. So for some people that may not be familiar with Network Live, you should be. But for those that aren't, what does a membership with you guys, what are the benefits? What would you tell somebody who may be considering it?
Okay. So the Network Live membership is a whopping $20 a month.
Woo!
I know. And one of the reasons why we want it to be a low barrier to entry is because we want people to have a little bit of skin in the game. We want it to be affordable, but we want to offer a ton of value. So whether that's spotlighting you on social media, spotlighting you in our newsletters, giving you opportunities to teach master classes that we have, making introductions for you, shining a spotlight on your business. That's really what it is just to give you the opportunity to have the light shine on you and on your business, because we all know, and I hear all the time, that you do business with those you like, know, and trust. Yeah. And if somebody is just showing up and handing you a business card and turning around and not having a conversation with you, that business card's going to go in the garbage.
100%.
So that's really what we focus on, is building the relationships and cultivating those relationships, and then offering resources to help your businesses grow.
I love that.
Thank you.
You're talking about the spotlight and shining.
Yes.
There's been an announcement that was just recently done at the Empower and Elevate conference.
Yes.
And it looks like you're moving on up when it comes to that. So
yes.
Can you share that announcement and what you have planned kind of as an extension of Network Live into the Empower and Elevate conference?
You bet. So Colleen Biggs, who is amazing, created, yes, she is. She created the Empower and Elevate conference. I believe it was in 2023, and it's a twice yearly conference for female entrepreneurs. And there are panel discussions, there are main stage speakers, spotlight speakers, networking round tables, lunches served, there's swag, there's raffles. And it really is just the environment that she has cultivated, and the women that are attracted to that event it's astounding to me, really. I mean, the first time that I attended that, I thought, I am never missing one of these, because everyone comes and there can be 12 real estate agents, not really, but there can be several real estate agents or mortgage brokers or, med spa owners or whatever, but everybody's there with an attitude of, what resources do I have that I can help you with? How can I help you grow? Because most of the people that attend those events or that conference are of an abundance mindset. There is plenty of business out there for everybody. And so Colleen approached me in October and asked me if I would be interested in her passing the torch to me. And I said, absolutely. I wasn't even sure what the terms were going to be, but I was just like, I am totally in, because this has to go on. Yeah. And so March 21st was the conference, and you were there.
Yep, it was amazing.
It was amazing, yes. And we made the announcement then. And so Colleen's still going to be a part of it. She's like, for November, she's going to be the MC. So it's going to feel a lot the same. All the back end stuff will be going through Network Live, basically that platform. And it's funny, because somebody contacted me the other day and said, I got a charge on my credit card from Network Live, and I don't remember signing up for anything. And I emailed her back and I said, oh, well, did you sign up for the Empower and Elevate conference for November? And anyway, a few emails went back and forth, and then it finally clicked that, oh, it's running through anyway. So, so we do need to make that more clear, but
right.
But
those things you find out in these processes.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. But the conferences are so amazing, and it's not because, it's partly because of Colleen, but it's really because of the people that step up to participate, either as a ticket holder, as a speaker, as somebody that's, sponsoring the lunch or whatever. Is just such an amazing and obviously empowering event that I wanted to make sure it continued on. And so we're already, we have all the speakers booked out. November's completely booked. We've got everybody set. We're taking speakers applications for March of 2026, and we have about half of those full at this point. But I love that because we have Network Live and I'm connected to other groups, that we're able to then expose the Empower and Elevate conference to more women and be able to have new speakers and have new attendees to come and be able to associate and collaborate with each other. So I'm really excited. I don't have any plans to change the layout or the way the show runs or the event runs, because it's really quite amazing. She just has it down to a science. Yeah. And the whole focus is on the panelists, the speakers, and the sponsors. And that's what it's all about. And I told Colleen, that was the first thing I told her after the first event. I said, it's really brilliant the way that you've created this, because it is not the Colleen show. It is about all the women that are there, whether in the audience or they're speaking, and how we can, as a group, lift each other up. And so it's just really, I'm super excited to be able to continue it on, and because it's really just an incredible environment.
I love that. For those that know Tab and Catherine, Tab has this big personality, and it feels like Catherine's the heart behind it. So to see the heart coming out and, leading from the front and, taking this on, I'm so proud to know and be a part and to see your growth in this. I think it's amazing.
Thank you.
2026, we're going to have these, different conferences and that whole bit, Network Live. I know where you're adding value in the whole bit. It seems like you got a ton going on.
Yes.
Just on your own side, and that whole thing. So what are you looking forward to for 2026?
Wow. For 2026, we've got a lot, not only for Network Live, like launching new programs that will help, that are more focused on helping like the C-level executives, but, obviously keeping the Empower and Elevate happening. And then with our cybersecurity company, we are going to transition that to a certified woman-owned business. So
Amazing.
That will be me.
Awesome.
So part of that is to take advantage of all the different opportunities that are out there for specifically diverse, those that are considered diverse businesses. And also because the cybersecurity world, there are not a lot of women out there. There's more and more and more, but it's a predominantly male field. And so we were also thinking that by doing that and kind of having me be the face of it, that might kind of breathe some life into it. We've brought on a sales consultant that is a young woman that is super excited about the industry, and she's got lots of great ideas. So it's kind of like this, it's a 15-year-old company that's kind of like got this breath of fresh air almost that has come. And of course, so many things have changed just even in the sales process and the things that we can do to market, that it's really feels like a whole new ball game.
Amazing.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, so that kind of leads directly into my next topic. I didn't pay her a plan, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. I appreciate that. So Tab leads from the front, and he's the charisma guy, and all of that. And like I said, you're the heart. How is it balancing working with your husband, being a strong woman in business, doing this Elevate and Empower conference? It seems like you're obviously Tab is always going to have his charisma and all of those things, but it really feels like it's kind of two heads of the Hydra now instead of you kind of behind.
Yes.
And that whole bit. So can you talk about that journey and that commitment to leading from the front?
Yes. And it has been a journey, because even when we first started took over Network Live and started branding, Tab was he's never like critical. It's always trying to encourage me. And I so appreciate that. So he's like, you got to start posting on social media. You got to, because I tend to get really heads down. And so I'll like focus on what it is that I need to get done today. And I don't even like get on social media that often. And so I'm like forcing myself to, in fact, I have it in my calendar to, go on Facebook and make a post, because it's not something that I naturally do. I'll go on, I'm more of like a lurker on Facebook. I mean, I'll talk to like my friends and stuff, but for the most part, I'm like on and off. And that was something else that he told me. He's like, if you make a comment or you do a post, you got to respond to people. Mm-hmm. And so there's just like so many moving parts of running a business that I had no idea about. And I'm still learning, and I don't know that process is ever going to stop, because so many things are changing so fast. Yeah. But I have had to step out and be more visible and be okay with, being on videos or doing podcasts and things like that.
Thank you.
And yes. And at first it was really hard, because I think we're all really self-critical. I'm going to notice if my hair's not looking right that day, or if I've gained a few pounds or whatever. And so part of that journey is just being okay with myself. Even though I might want to lose weight or not have as many wrinkles or what have you, I need to be out there so that I can help other women that are thinking, what alternatives do I have that I can do? Because honestly, before I started working outside the home, my thought was, I'm a stay-at-home mom and caregiver. What could I possibly do? That I don't have any marketable skills. That's what I told myself. And so when I went into the workforce and I started with cybersecurity recruiting, a lot of it was overcoming that imposter syndrome and being okay with not knowing everything. And, you know, I didn't have certifications. I've never graduated from college, you know, so I don't have all these things, especially as women, that we feel like we need to have before we can make the leap. And I think men are more apt to just jump in and say, I can do it, and then figure out how. Right. And so that's been part of the journey too, is just my philosophy is if somebody has figured out how to do it, and especially if there's a YouTube video about it, then I can figure it out, you know, in my own way or my own style. So, but I want people to know that, especially women, that whatever their past is, it doesn't have to be their future. And we have a wonderful friend, Yvonne Delafleur, that says your past is a place of reference, not a place of residence. And I love that. In fact, whenever I say that or think of it, I get chills. But it is so important because all of our journeys are so individual to us. And we may think, okay, but I don't have an MBA or I don't have experience, you know, with social media or what have you. But being able to learn as you go is such a blessing. And I love learning. I don't love, you know, making a fool of myself, but we make mistakes, and most people are very kind and generous and will, you know, just say, oh, you know, no big deal. It'll happen better next time, or, you know, whatever. But genuinely, most of the time people are supportive and, you know, and are ready to offer grace to you. And yes, we do have some of the people that, you know, will send us an email after an event and say, you should be doing it, you know, at XYZ location, or it was too loud, or, you know, and it's just like, thank you for your input. We really appreciate it. And, you know, we move on. But I don't want anyone to feel like where they're at this moment in time is where they're going to be forever, because you always have the option to change.
Yep. I love that, you know, and kind of a full circle moment, you know, you doing the podcast from, you know, all those years ago and that whole bit, you know, Colleen, of, you know, if that first step where you made the decision to work out of the home, if you could give yourself advice then from your current self, what would you tell Catherine all those years ago?
That I can do anything I set my mind to. That would be it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Because, you know, when I was in my early 20s or even early 30s, I was so worried about having to look perfect and be perfect. And my house had to be perfect. And my kids needed to act perfect. And that is just, first of all, an illusion, you know, and not to compare myself to anybody else, because my journey is not going to be the same as anybody else's journey. So that's what I would tell myself, is just give yourself some grace, give yourself opportunities to grow, and enjoy the journey.
I love that.
Thank you.
So we've both come from male-dominated industries, you know, myself, automotive, you in tech, and that whole bit. You know, for women who are considering, you know, kind of dipping their toe into a male-dominated industry, you know, basically my point is you have a point of view that they don't have. You have that experience that they don't have. You have that point of reference that they don't have. And in a lot of ways, it can complement to bring a more holistic, you know, sort of benefit to the business. What would you kind of say in that same point of reference for like a woman who may be considering tech or automotive or a service industry?
Absolutely go for it. And I would also suggest to reach out to other women that are already in the field that you want to go into, because I think we naturally support each other and encourage each other. And I found that most people are willing, especially if you're like, hey, I'm just starting out in this industry and I would just love some pointers, or love your point of view, or what group should I be, you know, starting to hang out in, that kind of a thing. Most people are very willing to say, hey, you need to know this person, this person, this person, and you need to go to this event and this, you know, that kind of a thing. And, but don't ever let a particular industry, whether it's male dominated or, anything else, limit you, because you do have your own point of view and your perspective that you can add that's going to really bring light and bring, I'm trying to think of the word, just a new dynamic to the situation. And, there have been articles about how people are, boards of advisors or whatever that are male dominant, bringing in women, and how that has kind of changed the dynamics and how it's helping the businesses to be more successful, because there is that, other side of the coin, I guess you could say. And, we complement each other very well. And when everybody has, they're open to ideas and open to working together and collaborating and not shutting each other down and, oh, that's a bad idea. That is when the progress happens, and that's when their growth happens.
I love that. You and I have, I've been Network Live and, did the thing, supported you guys and the whole bit. And I remember a conversation that we had just in the last couple of months. And, I was basically like, is there anything I can do to help you? Is there anything, that you guys need and the whole bit? And you're like, yeah, this. And she's like, you're always asking other people, who do you need to know? And so I said, look, I'm looking for somebody who is, abundance mindset, who's hungry, who's ambitious, who really wants to grow. And you put me in touch with Eric Whitmoyer,
yes,
of my Biz Coaches, and now I am part owner in that business.
I love that.
And
that
things are amazing,
so
and growing from that with other opportunities and that whole bit. And that is, kind of my personal testament to you, your abundance mindset, what you bring to the table.
Thank you.
Thank you for what you do.
Oh, of course.
Thank you for, obviously Tab's great and the whole thing. And, he gets his, sort of stamp of approval too. But, as a woman in business, seeing you work with your husband, seeing what you're doing, taking over the Elevate and Empower Conference. I am rooting for you. I can't wait to be a part of it. And I really thank you for taking the time to be on the podcast. As we close, is there any sort of final notes, final things that you'd like to share for women here specifically in the greater Phoenix Valley and how we can do better business together?
Yes. Do not look at other women as competition, because we're not. We can collaborate. There's enough business out there for everybody, and we all have our own unique style that we bring. And so somebody with our networking events might not be for somebody who is looking for an immediate lead, and that kind of a thing. We want the longer play. We want people to build relationships. So there's places like BNI. It's great for doing leads and having lead exchanges and things like that. And that's just not the direction that we want to go in. And so there's enough business out there for everybody. There are so many opportunities to collaborate with others. And it goes back to the whole, even like the advisory board thing. Having different opinions and different views is so helpful in growing your business, because none of us knows everything. And so you probably have resources or experience that I don't have. And when we can get together and put our minds together, oh my gosh, it's just gonna help both of us grow. So I would say, don't look at other people as competition, look at them as collaboration partners.
Again, to your abundance mindset. I love it. Mic drop from Catherine Pierce, everybody. So then again, this is Nicole Banks with Nicole's Business Notebook, here with Catherine Pierce, one of the great women here in the greater Phoenix Valley, doing networking the right way with abundance in mind. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Nicole's Business Notebook. Subscribe and follow for more tips, insider secrets, and hard-earned wisdom so that we can all do better business together. See you next time.